Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trek at 2. Okay, you see me, you see Aaron, and now, finally, the man behind the hit show, you see Jeff. We promised you last week.
Hi, Jeff.
Thanks for joining.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
We're much better now that you're on the show, finally. If everybody's been tuning in regularly, which we thank you for that. If you've been tuning into Trek at 2, you got to see 3 of the hosts of Scout Saturday Live last week. Now we've got Jeff. Jeff, how do you explain your role with Scout Saturday Live?
I am the janitor. I am the caretaker and the chief bottle washer. I would say, in all seriousness, I'm the creator, but I'm also the executive producer, and with that comes several hats.
It sounds like just a regular scout leader to me, basically, right? That's what
right.
you do.
All packed tightly into my 1 hour a week, of course.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
We were talking, I don't think we had ever planned on talking about this, but we just were talking about it right before we all went live. You've got quite the background to be just the man equipped to handle this. Is that right?
I guess it's working. Yeah, I am. Well, under normal circumstances, I am a global event producer, and so I work on all kinds of crazy and amazing events all over the world, award shows and corporate meetings and events, private parties for the royal families in the Middle East, and crazy things. But of course, with the pandemic and the shutdown of events, I'm free to double my time for scouting to 2 hours a week.
Now you're up to 2 hours a week. Yeah.
Now I'm up to 2. And by the time we're done with this conversation, I'm sure we'll get to 3 or 4.
Well, right. You're going to put in at least 30 minutes for this. So
yes,
exactly. Yes. Be sure to bill us for your time. Yeah. Right.
Of course.
That would explain why the production value. Personally, I think the production value on Scout Saturday Live is really high. It's amazing what can be done.
It's almost Trek at 2 quality, Gina. Wouldn't you say it's just almost as good?
I can't even joke because when we had the hosts on, I mean, like I think we said then we were like 400% better.
Yeah,
at least
they are
3.
clearly the pros. Yeah, exactly. And I do want to tell everybody that, and I do want to say that video is still on the Boys Life Facebook page. When we're done here, don't leave right now, but when we're done here, you can go watch the video of the Scout Saturday Live talent. Do we need to kind of explain exactly what Scout Saturday Live is? Maybe we could do that real quick.
Sure. Well, Scout Saturday Live is a live stream show. We broadcast every other Saturday, so our next show is September 12th. And the show itself was created as a result of COVID-19. I'm one of my volunteer jobs for my council, the Western Los Angeles County Council, is a special event chair, and I use my producing skills to come up with some pretty crazy and fun and incredible events for the scouts of our council. So when COVID hit in March, all in-person scouting events were canceled, and I really wanted to create something that would allow scouts to continue their connection to scouting and its values and all the fun. And that's kind of how the show got created. What the show is a scout-hosted program that features games and projects and science experiments and competitions and just a whole lot of fun for scouts of all ages and their families.
Yeah, I like it because it's kind of interactive, Gina. They're entertaining. They do a lot of cool stuff, but there's also stuff that the audience can do with them, right? The scavenger hunts in your own home, things like that are really cool. So it's a really good combination if you're looking for something that's both entertaining and also you don't just necessarily have to sit still and watch. You can get up and do stuff, which is a really cool idea. I think was that your idea, Jeff, to make it kind of interactive like that?
That was the idea. I think the real idea, and to let out my little secret, is to be educational and to help scouts with their advancement and for achievements, checking off things off of their list of achievements as they work towards their awards and merit badges and advancement and so forth. But we wouldn't want to turn it into, it's not a merit badge class, and it's not supposed to feel like a classroom at all. So I would say entertainment is the primary goal, with those secondary goals, fun with a purpose. So you're going to learn something for sure, and you're not even going to feel like you're learning something until afterwards. You're like, oh, I just discovered something new today.
That's kind of what scouting's all about. I think we have a supercut, a sizzle reel, as we call it, that shows anybody who's never tuned into Scout Saturday Live exactly what just a little glimpse of it looks like. And before we roll that, we got to remind you guys, in honor of our new scouting app, we are dedicating these Fridays of Trek at 2 to scouters. So if you are watching right now, if you have questions for Jeff, this is the time to share a little bit of best practices. So here's a little sneak peek, not even sneak peek, a sample of what's been going on Scout Saturday Live.
Hi guys, my name is Bailey Vincent and I'm a Life Scout with Troop 22G.
My name is Sam Yamashita from Troop 719.
I'm Charlotte Green. I'm Chase Green.
I'm Nathaniel Cox, an Eagle Scout from Troop 10.
My name is Taylor Bell.
I'm Cameron Irvine.
I'm your host, Miranda Janae. And here we go.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm totally sold. It also just makes me, it's just incredible. I have been dying to ask, how do you line all this up? How do you get all of these cool people from all over the world, all over the country?
It's become easier to do that because of the show's popularity, but really it's Facebook actually has been my source. So I have befriended many scouters across the globe, and I ask, hey, are you able to help me recruit a scout from your unit? I'm looking for youth, because one thing I've learned is that when you say scout in the U.S., most people think of youth. When you say scout outside of the U.S., it could be youth or it can be an adult. So I always specify, are you able to help me recruit some scouts, youth, to be on the program? And I've gotten some great responses from literally all over the world. So that's how it starts.
And we keep saying all over the world, but it's bigger than that, right? I mean, we're talking really into space.
Space, Gina. This is my favorite thing.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna preface this conversation by saying that when my middle son was going for his Eagle, and he was preparing for his Eagle project and soliciting different companies to make donations for his project, I always told him that if you don't ask, you'll never know. And that goes, holds true in life, where if you're trying to do something and you need somebody's help or you want their involvement or whatever the case may be, ask, because the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say no. And let's just leave it at that until we get past what I have a feeling you're about to show.
That's right. Let's watch.
I'm U.S. Army Colonel
NASA astronaut and assistant scoutmaster in Troop 452 in Friendswood, Texas, coming to you from the International Space Station, where I've lived and worked for the past 9 months conducting science experiments, maintenance, cargo operations, and spacewalks. Just like scouts committed to serving their communities, through our service off the Earth, we hope to make a better Earth. And the challenges our planet faces now and in the future will need scouts like you, committed to scout values and selfless service. Be prepared. Do a good turn daily. I'm proud of each and every one of you. And now, it's Scout Saturday Live.
Okay, that's crazy.
That's great. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I still get chills with with that video. I had decided early on that it would be really cool if we can try to get people that are famous or people that scouts would know or be able to relate to be able to do introductions for the show. It'd be the only time during the show that an adult would be on, because the show itself is completely scout forward. There are no adults on the show, except for maybe a cameo non-speaking appearance here and there. But in this case, if I can find some people that were interested and noteworthy or relatable to scouts, then it would be really cool to do that. And so, wow, I found out that Mr. Morgan is obviously he's a NASA astronaut, but he's also a scout leader, like you mentioned. So I reached out to NASA's PR department and told them what we're doing, and said, I'd love to do this, and here's some scripting that perhaps he can say. And many, many, many weeks went on, and quite frankly, I forgot about it at that point. And then I got an email with a link from NASA. I'm thinking, what is this? And I look at it, and I thought at first when I watched it that they were just sending me some kind of file footage that, pre-recorded thing that really has nothing to do with us, but was a good message for scouting. But when he said, and now it's Scout Saturday Live, I thought I was going to faint. Honest to goodness, I thought I was going to fall backwards in my chair. I was screaming around my house. My kids were wondering what the heck's going on. And that was pretty awesome. I still get chills every time I see that.
It's amazing. Yeah. Very cool.
That was my favorite part too, when he said, obviously it's like a show kickoff, but you make a point that you are open to using people in the opening of Scout Saturday Live who are adults but relatable to youth. So if you are, A or B-list celebrity watching right now and you want to reach out to Jeff to beg him to be on Scout Saturday Live, I think it's kind of a book show, but all of our celebrity viewers.
As a showing of good faith towards their generosity, then I would consider it, of course. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love how it flipped. You explained a little bit that, we kind of used to be seeking out folks to get on the show, seeking out skits and bits. And now it sounds like people are coming to you with ideas. Is that right?
Yeah. We get a lot of ideas from scouts and scouters, certainly throughout the U.S., but abroad as well. And that definitely has been making things easier to bring people onto the show, that I don't necessarily need to look for them. They're coming to us. And so that's very exciting.
It's more than, so we keep highlighting the show, but there's more to it than that. There's a marketing, not even marketing, but a promotional plan at play as well, right? You're creating trailers. I've seen a few different trailers, I think.
Yeah. It's I think it's always important to show people what we're doing, and of course generate excitement and remind people that we've got a show coming up. So we're constantly looking at trailers that we can create, or different videos and different fun things. We recently, as you know, kicked off season 2 this past Saturday. So during the 1 month break that we took between the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2, we put out a ton of videos, and they're fun. There's a kind of this outtakes video that was awesome and is very, very popular online. We did this fun little vacation video with Cameron, one of our hosts, was kind of lounging about. Looks like he's somewhere in paradise in Hawaii or something, and you see the ocean and you hear the waves. And as it turns out, he's sitting in his front yard, and the waves sound were cars going by. So we had some really, really fun things that we were able to do during that time.
Very cool. So I think we actually have. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
Well, why don't we show the clip first? I had a question for about recruiting. Recruiting is something that all scout leaders have to deal with. And you have recruited, you mentioned there's rarely adults on the show. You have recruited youth to host the show. And I would just love to know how you found these kids and
Sure.
How do they sign up and what do you look for and things like that?
Sure. I thought of the idea of the show exactly on May 13th was the date that, sorry, March 13th was the date that I pitched the idea to my council executives, and hey, I have an idea. This is what I want to do, and they were very, very supportive of that. Immediately sent out an email blast to our council to solicit scouts who might be interested in being on the show and having them submit, of course, with their parents' involvement and their parents' permission, audition videos. And what emerged from that initial ask for open auditions were in excess of 200 responses from within our council, all kinds of scouts that were interested in the show, different backgrounds, and then I selected an initial group of 6 that represented all different branches of scouting. So I was able to, and I wasn't trying to do that. It worked out that way. What I was trying to do is I was trying to select scouts that were most qualified for the job. I wanted really ambitious and exciting personalities and scouts that showed enthusiasm, and it was a test as well, because I gave them a deadline. I told them parameters. I told them you need to answer certain questions as a part of your video. And all of that was a test as well. Are they going to deliver on time? Because we run a really tight schedule. Every 2 weeks we broadcast a show that's anywhere between a half an hour and 45 minutes long. And as you guys know, it's a lot of work to put together the content that's going to last that long. And if I can't bring on board scouts that are going to be responsible, there's no way that it would work. And so I ended up with 3 boys and 3 girls. Of those scouts, we had a C Scout in there. We still do, Charlotte. We have Scouts BSA. And actually, we did not at the time have a Venture Scout, although I think we were at episode 6 or 7. Actually, we brought on board one of our guest hosts, Taylor, who lives out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and she is our latest member of the team, and she is a Venture Scout. So that rounded out scouting, with the exception of Explorer Scouts. We don't have an Explorer Scout yet, so all you Explorers out there, if you're interested,
There you go.
come on.
Yeah.
And we are about to announce one new host is going to be announced on September 12th. I'm always trying to be mindful of the host time, and these are high school kids. They are going into a school year that is very unpredictable, and they're kind of stepping into the unknown with online classes and more work with their higher grades that they're in. I think most of them are juniors. I think there's a senior in there as well. So they had expressed a little bit of concern about, I hope I have enough time, and we want to make sure that I have enough time, and I still want to do it. I'm very excited. And so we made the decision to add an 8th member of the cast. And the primary purpose of that was to help spread the workload and put out that Facebook post all over the country to open auditions. We ended up with I want to say it was close to 70 responses for that. And we have selected our newest member, and we're excited to reveal who that newest member is on September 12th.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys, everybody watching, you've got to tune in to find out who that is.
Yes.
It is always amazing when we have the benefit of doing it from a national level. And so do you, really, with this. When you put out a call for scouts, it does seem like you just always get like such a great diversity of kids from different backgrounds, girls and boys, different programs. It never ceases to amaze me. And I love that. There needs to be no concerted effort there. It just ends up that way. And I love that about scouting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We teased it a second ago, but I want to just show a quick trailer. If you're totally out of the loop on this, I've never seen Scout Saturday Live, or you just absolutely love it, we're going to play Jeff's favorite trailer.
Very creative.
Thank you. Part of the joy of scouting, well, certainly most of the joy of scouting for me is having my kids involved with me, and that all really started when all three of my sons were in Cub Scouts and in the pack all at the same time, and that was really cool. And of course, they're much more grown up now. My oldest is now 20, and my two younger kids, my middle son and my younger son, are still involved with scouting in the venture crew and also the Boy Scout troop for my youngest. But it's different now that they're older, but they help me tremendously with the show. My oldest son is the voiceover for the show, so you listen to the start of it and you hear the host being announced. That's him. My youngest son is the scout advisor, so he keeps the old man here real. And when I come up with an idea, he's like, "Dad, that's stupid, and his kids aren't going to like that." You know what? He's a kid and he's a scout, and he's right. And so he keeps me real and grounded, and comes up with some incredible ideas as well for the show. In fact, my favorite episode, which I'm sure we can talk about at one point, was his idea. So, and then my middle son helps me with all kinds of things, including that little stop animation thing with the wood. That was him and I working in the garage for 5 hours to make that happen. It was a lot of fun working with him. It's like
building a Pinewood Derby car, right, Jeff? All over again, doing a little project with the garage, right? Yeah.
It absolutely is, for sure.
Who edits? I've just been dying to ask who edits all of this. Is it different people, or do you have somebody on your team, or does it fall to you a lot of the time?
There's three people to start with. For the first half of the first season, my friend and volunteer colleague Steve Vincent happens to be a professional editor as well, and so he has helped with the editing of the show, and really set everything off on the right track in terms of the look and feel of the show. But then we one fateful day, we got an email from a scout, happens to be an Eagle Scout within our council, and the email was sent to me and said, "Hey, I'm a film editing student. I'm an Eagle Scout and still an active Scout." I think he was a sophomore at the time, but maybe a junior in high school, or maybe he's a junior now. I'm not sure. And can I help with the show? The answer is yes. For the most part,
yes.
I don't think there's any scout.
That's every scout volunteer's dream, to have someone contact you and say, "Can I help?" Right? That's exactly what you want.
Absolutely. And I don't think that there's a scout that's ever written to us that has said, "Hey, can I do something?" We've never turned anybody down. There's a job for everybody, and so Kyle is the scout I'm referencing now, an aspiring editor. We put him to work. We started him off with just a couple of small segments in the show. One thing led to another, and the latter half of season 1, all of those shows, and now into season 2, have been edited completely by him. So when I say it's a scout forward program, I'm not kidding. I mean, it's, we're hosted by scouts. You see all scouts on the show, and the show is edited by a scout as well.
Awesome.
Now, the school year, of course, has gotten started for Kyle, and so in an effort to take some pressure off of him, I kind of have him working on the show-related stuff, but trailers for the most part is editing that I do, and that way I can keep Kyle busy with the show, and I don't have to bog him down too much with too much work on his shoulders, because I want him. Kyle, I want you helping forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Thanks for making it happen. And
Good
our
job.
scout viewers, like we've got Connor and Xavier and Jeff who are watching today. That was a good piece of advice. You should always, volunteer to step up if you feel called to volunteer or participate in a project. Maybe you will be talking to somebody like Jeff who says, absolutely you can help, and gives you some tasks to start right away. That's very awesome. You teased a second ago your favorite episode. I think we have like a little tiny clip from it, or like a edited package. Anything you want to say before we roll into that?
Well, first of all, you asked Bailey, Miranda, and Nathaniel, 3 of our hosts, last week what their favorite episodes were. So I really wanted to push for me to weigh in on what my favorite episode is, and I'm very grateful that I can. My favorite episode, we'll show you a bit of that in a moment, but I think that this goes back to my profession in terms of managing logistics. I love logistics. I love challenges, and this took the cake. This episode was a logistical behemoth, and I'll show you why. Let's roll the show. So that is our Globe Runner episode, and that was episode 9 of the show. And the idea behind this, as I mentioned, it was really my son Josh's idea, and I run an event with my district that I call The Amazing Race. It's modeled after the television program The Amazing Race, where we send scouts out in groups with adults, of course, to find clues, and one clue leads to another, and they have to be extremely resourceful to be successful and eventually finish the race, which is an all-day thing, and they're traveling completely using public transportation to get to where they need to go and figure things out, and it's a whole lot of fun. Well, Josh was saying, well, how can we do something kind of like that for Scout Saturday Live? And of course, we're not sending anybody out in public transportation right now, so how can we do that virtually? And so he and I talked, and this is what we'd come up with. And so the episode itself has a lot of objectives to it. Number one is to create to the gamification of that, and anytime you're playing a game, that's going to be fun, and we're going to get people involved with that, and we got a whole lot of them with Globe Runner. The other thing was, what can we do to educate people again without making them feel like they're being educated? We taught our viewers how to use Google Earth. And that's a cool thing, because I like playing around on Google Earth and exploring the world and seeing places that I don't get to go to normally or may never get to go to. I want to see the pyramids of Egypt, and I can do that on Google Earth. And now we've taught scouts how to do that as well. You want to go to the Panama Canal? You can go there on Google Earth. You can do it right now. But how can we use that to connect the dots with this game? And then, of course, get scouts involved. So again, recruited scouts from all over the world, all kinds of different locations, literally from the pyramids in Egypt to the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world in Dubai, Niagara Falls, all these different iconic and amazing places, and got scouts to film at those locations, provide clues as a part of the game, and then run that game as a part of the show. And so now you understand, from a logistics standpoint, it was tough. There were a lot of sleepless nights for that one, but what an incredible turnout it was, and it's something I'm very proud of, and that's why that one's my favorite episode.
Yeah, what an awesome piece of work you have to show for it. I'm just trying to think back when your kids were in Cub Scouts, if you ever organized like a Pinewood Derby event or something, like how nuts it would have been.
It was nuts. Yes. I'm a kid at heart in a big way, and I like a lot of people. I have a very short attention span. I want to do things that are fun and exciting and entertaining and interesting and epic. So I was fortunate enough to become the Cub Master for my pack way back then, Pack 333, and during that time, let me preface by saying that before I was the Cub Master, camping wasn't like real camping. It was kind of glamping a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that works for a whole lot of people, so I'm not knocking it. But I grew up doing real camping with my dad, and my mom wasn't so much of a camper, so she stayed back, but my dad and I went camping all the time. And I wanted to bring that nostalgic feeling to the families and to the scouts of my pack. So the number one thing that I think people get worried about with camp is, are we going to be bored, and are we going to be able to eat good food, and are we going to be comfortable? And so I told people, listen, I'm going to take care of everything. I just need you to pack what I tell you to pack, bring a sleeping bag and a tent, show up when I tell you to show up at this campsite somewhere in the middle of wherever it is, and I'll take care of the rest. And I cooked incredible food, and I surprised people with cooking food that they would never expect in the middle of nowhere. And I made Scout family camping epic. We went on, well, I hope none of my old scouts are watching this, because it could be sad for them to hear this. I would wake up at the crack of dawn, having purchased fake Indian arrowheads, so Native American arrowheads, and I'd get a massive package of those, and I would wake up at the crack of dawn, and I would walk the trail that I was planning on taking my pack on a hike on, and I would scatter them around and kind of bury them under dirt. And I would tell the story about the Native Americans that lived in that area, which is all true, and I would show them an example of an arrowhead. And I said, we should go on a hike and try to find some. And yeah, everybody, all these little kids' eyes wide open, like, yes, let's do that. And so we started walking down the trail, and I told them how to look for them and where to find them. And no one was finding any for a while. And I was getting really worried, like, oh no, if nobody finds them, I'm going to be really sad. And then all of a sudden, the first kid found one. and they're going nuts, and I'm just getting chills thinking about it, right? Just going crazy. And then one by one, as we continue down this hour-long trail, and we're talking about animals, we're talking about plants, and everybody's screaming because they're finding more of these arrowheads. Those are the types of things that generate excitement, and that was just an epic, awesome time. And we did some really crazy, fun things when I was a Cub Master.
Man, I knew it. I knew those kids had an awesome experience. Well, your passion for scouting shows, and we appreciate all the time you are giving to make sure, there are more scouters one day. So thank you, Jeff. Aaron, am I missing anything? We've gone over time, but it was too good to stop. I mean, we could talk for probably another 2 hours, I think.
Yep.
It's my pleasure.
I remind everybody to watch our interview with the 3 of the hosts of the show, which was really fun. It's on the Boys Life Facebook page. And then, of course, season 1 of Scout Saturday Live is online. You can binge it all in an afternoon. Like Jeff said, 20 to 30 minutes each, I think, is about right for each episode.
Yeah, around 30 minutes average.
30 minutes, okay. So it's very bingeable. So I don't think you have to watch season 1 to catch up to watch season 2, but you might as well. It's good. It's good stuff. Watch Jeff's favorite episode and all the other stuff from season 1. And season 2 is happening right now.
Yeah, you can see the first episode of season 2.
Yep. Debuted last Saturday and continues every Saturday for the next couple of months, I guess, right?
Every other Saturday. So not this Saturday, but September 12th will be our next one.
Gotcha. Right. There you go.
You guys got to check it out. Jeff, if you'd ever like to come back, I think we could have a whole nother topic.
That would be fun. Thank you.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will say goodbye to you, but we will end the show by showing you one of Jeff's favorite viewer projects, because it puts a whole nother twist on, all of the ways you can interact with Scout Saturday Live. Plus, we got to end it with the good stuff, which is the show itself. So we will roll into that and see everybody Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a great holiday weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
This is the science. And today we're going to do the bouncy egg experiment. So we got our jar, our egg, our spoon, a leftover egg coloring tablet, our plate, and our safety goggles. Yeah. Oh, and also the vinegar. Yep.